From our previous story of Father Norbert Earl, I want to tell you another story of that same famous chaplain to the Australian Army. This is Roger from the MSC Mission Office, New Earth Mission Alive. The mission was alive back in the days of Father Earl and is still very much alive today. Father Norbert Earl, having enlisted in the army and was going across the Kokoda Trail with the Australian troops, there was somehow in amongst those troops a black soldier from the US of A. I'm not too sure how he became one with the Australian troops, but anyway, that's part of history, I don't know. But apparently this black guy attached himself to Father Earl, to Norbert Earl. And everywhere Nobby went, this guy was close by. So he said to him one day, he says, "Excuse me, but what are you hanging around near me for?" And this black guy says, in the way he used to speak, he says, "Padre, I see the Lord is looking after you. The Lord's looking after you, so I'm staying right close to you. I ain't going nowhere." So this went on. He was sticking right close to Norbert Earl. And then one day, Norbert Earl was saying Mass. And he said, he told the story himself, 2 44-gallon drums, a plank of wood, and he was saying Mass on top of that. And in those days, the rule was, if a priest started to say Mass, he had to finish it. He couldn't break off in between for any reason. So during the Mass, Japanese fighter planes were coming over and shooting things up. So Father Earl very, very quickly finished the Mass, got through all the prayers, did everything very quickly. Vestments and all, he took a dive into one of the trenches. And right on top of him was this black guy from the States. And when it was all over and they climbed out and dusted themselves off, and this black guy says to Father Earl, he says, "Padre, I see the Lord looking after you, but don't you push him too far." So I don't know the end of the story, whether that black guy continued to stay close to Father Earl or not, but anyway, that was the sort of reputation that he had. And I guess a lot of other troops might have thought a bit the same, that where Father Norbert Earl was, the Lord was pretty close. Because he was an extraordinary man, he was a great priest and a great care for people. So, and in that time in Kokoda Trail, he said when they were under fire, he would be crawling around in the jungle and through the trenches and giving communion to the Catholic troops along the way. So there was that pastoral care, and as I said, when he retired here to Australia, he spent many, many hours and days out visiting people, families, all over Sydney from those days of army contacts. And when he died here in Sydney, it was apparently a huge turnout of all these army people. A lot of the soldiers might have died by then, but their families and friends and people in the unit that he served, and all that. So he's a famous priest and a famous chaplain to our soldiers. He had a mission, he carried out his mission. Our mission is here today in many different ways, so we can follow their example, take courage from what they did, and continue on our mission. Thank you.